What's up guys, my name is Ace, and in today's really quick video, we're going to be having a look at the Ghost Perk in Black Ops Cold War and exactly how it works. Now for many of you, this will be an extremely basic video and you will learn nothing from this. So just a disclaimer there, especially for people that have played previous Black Ops games. But for a lot of people, this is their very first Black Ops game, and therefore they're confused about how the Ghost Perk works in this, because in last year's Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Ghost was always active for you. If you had it on your class setup, it was always working. Whereas in Cold War and many other Black Ops games, Ghost only works if you're moving, and people want to know what that threshold is. And this movement threshold actually does change from Black Ops game to Black Ops game. Black Ops 4 was incredibly unforgiving. You basically had to be sprinting in order for Ghost to be working at that time, and the moment you'd stop sprinting, Ghost would deactivate, and therefore it was a pretty weak perk in that game. In Black Ops Cold War, I did a bunch of testing to find out the thresholds here, and it turns out your movement threshold appears to be exactly 5 miles per hour. So any movement speed below 5 miles per hour, and Ghost won't be activating for you. You will show up on the radar for enemies that have a spy plane in the air. However, with any movement that's faster than 5 miles per hour, this is when Ghost will activate, and you will now be hidden from those spy planes as long as you continue moving at that speed. Now that might be a little bit confusing because how do you know if you're going 5 miles per hour or faster? Well, first up, you could look at the weapon stats, and you can see here it's usually the aim down sight movement speed you want to be focusing on. With any one of the guns in the game, as long as you're standing up and moving forward at full speed, even without sprinting, Ghost will be working for you because you're going to be moving well above 5 miles per hour. However, with all of the assault rifles, tactical rifles, LMGs, and snipers, if you don't have any attachments that improve your aim walking movement speed, Ghost won't be activating for you if you're aiming and walking forward. For all the other guns, the SMGs, the pistols, as well as the shotguns, Ghost will activate when aiming down sight and walking at full speed. And thankfully, we actually have a really easy way of telling if Ghost is currently working for you while you're actually in the game playing, and this is, if you look at your minimap, you see that you have your own arrow on that minimap. And it has a little bit of a yellow glow around the edges of it. When that yellow glow is visible, Ghost is not working for you, and you'll notice that's how it appears when you're not moving at all, even when you have Ghost equipped. If, however, you start moving faster than 5 miles per hour, you will see that it sort of fades away, and you've now got more of a faded arrow. When you're seeing this faded version of the arrow, this means Ghost is currently active for you, and spy planes won't be able to pick you up as long as you continue moving at this speed. And then you'll notice if you stop, that yellow outline will reappear and Ghost has deactivated. So that's a super simple method to see if you're moving enough for Ghost to be working for you. And this is where I wanted to get into just how much you have to move, or how little you have to move, I guess, in order to keep Ghost active. Because for a lot of people, they do want to hold a particular power position, but they want to stay off the radar. And they want to know how much they have to be moving around in order to stay off the radar. And as you can see here, if you're paying attention to my arrow on the minimap, as long as I'm moving like this, I'm still staying active with Ghost. So I just have to move in a little bit of a circle here, and that's just fine. And even while aiming down sight, it does depend on the attachments you have. I do have one attachment on the QBZ at the moment that's boosting my aim down sight movement speed, but you'll see here that most of the time at least, Ghost is active, except for when I'm strafing sideways. Then it sometimes deactivates. But if we had another gun with a faster aim down sight movement speed, I'll just use this shotgun that's in my hand, for instance, but this would also apply with SMGs. You can just sort of move around in a circle like this, and Ghost will stay active for you. Now, the downside to doing this, especially if you're in a potentially close quarter situation, is if you're using Ghost and not using Ninja, then a competent player is just going to be hearing your footsteps anyway, and they'll actually have a better indication of exactly where you are compared to if they were seeing you on the minimap. So that is something to be aware of if you are trying this technique of staying off the radar while still holding a particular position. And with this, there's one last thing I just wanted to mention, which is stated in the perk description, but Ghost will also be working for you if you're calling in a streak where you have to pull up one of those tablets to be calling in your streak, and it will also be active for you when planting or defusing a bomb in Search and Destroy, for instance. And with that, that pretty much covers it. Ghost is really as simple as that. Make sure you're having a look at your arrow on the minimap to see what your movement speed thresholds are, and that should allow you to get a pretty good feel for things. As for my opinion on how they've balanced Ghost this time around with Cold War, I actually think they found a pretty good balance here. I'm somebody that's a big fan of having this style of Ghost where you have to be moving in order for it to be active, because that just takes a lot of the power away from those people that will literally just sit in a random corner and wait for somebody to walk by. Those people will have quite a bit less power if you've got a spy plane in the air. However, at the same time, I feel like Black Ops 4's version of Ghost, where you essentially had to be sprinting all the time for it to stay active, that was far too unforgiving, and I didn't like that very much either. I think Cold War has found that perfect middle ground, where as long as you're maintaining some movement and you're not just sitting in the exact same spot, Ghost is going to be working great for you. But if you're stopping and just standing still and pre-aiming a lane, or sitting in a corner and not doing anything, then Ghost will no longer be helping you. Of course, that is just my opinion on this. I'd like to know in the comment section below, what are you guys thinking about the current state of Ghost in Black Ops Cold War? Do you like how they're balancing it right now, or do you think it should be more or less forgiving? Just let me know those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.